All right, so what are we getting into today? Well, I really want to get this video that I've been working on out in the next like 5 to 7 days. So I think today I'm just gonna sandwich editing on both ends as the bread, and then in the middle, I think I'm gonna work on Ultra Battle just a little bit, hour or two mostly, probably. I need to start working on onboarding for Ultra Batters. Now I'm still learning how to read a lot of this analytics. Trust me, it's a mess. Google product, what can I say, right? But the average engagement time per user, per active user, has been going up for the past 28 days. There have been some changes that I've made, which is good to see. It seems that the engaged session per active user is going up a little bit too. I think I made the change somewhere around the first week of January, so it's good to see. And then obviously the average engagement time per session is going up as well. Another is that the day one retention has been showing signs of life as of recently, which is really good. It usually is like you'll see a couple percentage and then it flatlines for long. And so my hypothesis is that if I add a proper onboarding so I can show new users on what this game is about, how to play it, it should increase all these metrics, which is good. That's what I want to see. However, there is something that I am not excited to dig into, and that is the crashes, the crash-free sessions. It's saying that there's a lot of crashes, and I'm almost positive all of them are server related. Some of them don't break the game, some of them do, but they don't tell you that. I'm not excited to dig into this, but it is pretty important. It's telling me that I have on average like 10 to 30% of users that are crash free on a daily basis. That's pretty bad. I don't know. I'm gonna have to learn about this, but for now, I'm gonna do a little editing for a few hours, and then you'll probably see none of that and just the Ultra Batters work.
I ordered the pasta, but forgot to add meat to it. Pasta without meat is just weird, man. Who does this?
I'm working on Ultra Batters nearly every day, working on some update or some small patch. And it just hit me that I've been working on this game for nearly a year now. I'm sorry, over a year. I apologize. December 2023 is when I started officially. And I will admit, I'm not as far in development as I thought I would be by this point. And just gonna be frank, it's a little discouraging. This game is bar none my dream game. There's no question about it. I've had dream games evolve and change over the past like 15 years, 20 years of my life. And this is the one, I think, with all the experience and knowledge that I have, this is the one that I want to see completed in its final form. But I think it's starting to hit me that like money is incredibly important for any creative endeavor. I have the YouTube thing, I have the manga series, now I have the game development that I'm doing. And all of them, to some degree, are bottlenecked by not having enough money to pay people salaries to like keep this thing going. But then there's the whole discussion like, do you even really want that? Because if either branch becomes no longer profitable, then now you can't pay your employees' salaries and you can't pay the employees' salaries, and the expectation from the audience might be compromised. It's a whole discussion for another time. I want to end this video by just going through the initial game development doc that I made for Ultra Batters. It should be fun. So, AI generated image, shouts, represent. Fighting games tend to lean towards needing more than just mental prowess. You often need physical prowess too, limiting the accessibility of the genre. A fighting game that gives you more time in between inputs to make thorough input decisions could create for more dynamic and engaging gameplay, both raising the stakes and entertainment value of each battle. Ultra Batters aims to give you much more time to think several moves ahead and try and pre-calculate your best option. The matchup then becomes about who can devise the better strategic payoff a few moves down the line. Replays will be available after the match is over for both entertainment and education. This is kind of like the hypothesis behind Ultra Batters. So in a perfect world, this is how my game would play. Oh, I can't play.
Allow me.
Man, yo, if you have not watched Combat Gods 1 and 2, you need to go watch it ASAP. So the inspiration. Have you ever fantasized about what it would be like to embody your favorite anime character for a day? Being able to teleport or shoot energy from your hands or transform and put the beat down on a baddie? Not a woman, but like a bad guy. Well, I have a vision to turn this strategic depth of chess into a shonen battle simulator. Ultra Battles is a game that aims to use my love for shonen as its main inspiration to build the ultimate shonen battle simulation game, and fuse strategy games and a lot of principles from the fighting game genre with the high energy spectacle of shonen battles, hopefully allowing you to finally feel like the biggest challenge will be to deconstruct shonen fights well enough to give players enough control to simulate replays that look like what you might expect to see watching anime. The whole objective of Ultra Battles development over the next few years will be to research how to achieve this in a satisfying manner. This requires a lot of time and the support of a good community. That's you. I need the support of you. So one of the biggest inspirations is chess. Chess is perhaps the world's most popular fighting game that has transcended generations. Chess owes its dominance to the simplistic design of the game and easy to understand goal. The goal is simply checkmate. Do whatever you gotta do to achieve this goal. Becoming good at obtaining that goal is hard to master, making it a game with a lot of depth. Ultra Battles aims to borrow a lot of its core philosophy, a lot of its core design philosophy from chess to try and make a simple yet fun and relatable strategy game. So some of the chess design philosophies is turn-based strategy, symmetrical balance for the most part, game tree complexity, determinism, elo rating system, and archive of replays. Another inspiration is Toribosh. Toribosh introduced the revolutionary concept of real-time tactics rather than real-time reaction. Toribosh has a great replay feature that lets the community rewatch and analyze other players' replays for both entertainment and educational value. Ultra Battles aims to implement these core design mechanics. Yummy Hustle introduces engaging, fast-paced, turn-based shonen-style combat with exciting replays, simplifying what Toribosh started, making the genre more accessible. Ultra Battles aims to borrow from what Yummy Hustles has established. So in conclusion, Ultra Battles is aiming to be a game that is simple to understand and play. This will remove the complexity of inputs often linked with fighting games as a requirement, like Tekken, for example. It's symmetrically balanced. This removes a starting player's advantage. It is complex. It makes the game hard to master. It puts tactics over reaction, which makes the game more accessible. Has hyped, fast-paced turn-based shonen-style combat. This taps into the fantasy of many, I believe. We'll have a great replay feature that lets community rewatch and analyze other players' battles. This enables both entertainment and educational value beyond the game itself. So the timeline system, here's just a quick little overview. I might not go through all these slides. I don't think it's terribly important. Unless you want me to post a comment. If I skip anything, I'll do a game design doc overview. This game centers around the timeline system. Every Ultra Battles match is just a timeline comprised of a series of sequential A-frames. Every timeline should start with two players in the same equal state and end when a relic has been snatched off and is in possession by the other. Both players take their turn at the same time by selecting from a list of available actions. When both players have their action confirmed, these actions should be added to an A-frame along with other data like HP, position, velocity, etc., then added to the timeline. Each action has a frame cost to it, and until the frame cost of the action has been fully spent, your character should be busy, unable to select a new act. S frames should not be stored on the timeline, only the A frame should be stored on the timeline system cinematic feature. Once a replay is simulated, a cinematic feature can be used to enhance the value of the replay. For example of things the cinematic feature could modify: the position of the camera, the playback speed throughout the replay, camera filters, particle effects, and more. With this feature, Ultra Battles could take on a second life after playing a match in the form of platform overview. Mobile phones are the most accessible games platform there is, and I believe the success of Ultra Battles relies on its accessibility. Through ads and in-app purchases, mobile as a games distribution platform should enable a great way to fund development without charging for the game itself. It should also make more virality more probable. If you want to challenge a buddy to a battle, all they have to do is download a free app on a device they highly likely already have stored in their pocket, and they can start playing in mere seconds. So one of the big platform issues is that real-time games suffer from the need of being glued to your device to play the game for however long the multiplayer session is. And one of the definitive Ultra Battles design features is that it should support up to a 7-day turn limit, allowing people with busy schedules to be able to play the game on their time. A player could take their turn while they find a couple of seconds to respond, instead of having to block out a whole 30 minutes or longer to be able to adequately respond to your opponent appropriately for the duration of the match. Here's the art style overview. Less bells and whistles should create for more intentionality. A need to be more intentional arises from a smaller budget. Ultra Battles should use a low poly 3D minimalistic art style, allowing for more resources and attention to be allocated to the development of features, systems, and intentional feeling of animations and particles, instead of competing in the high fidelity graphical race, which can lead to uncanny visuals. This art style choice should effectively balance the need for visual appealing yet distinctive graphics while maintaining a manageable workload for the development team. It should also align well with the mobile platform limitations, ensuring that the game runs smoothly on a wide range of how to play overview. Certain actions should be available to a player given their current state. Each action should have a frame cost to it, but also a fatigue cost. The fatigue cost ensures the battle is increasing the stakes and intensity. An action must be chosen when you are free. A timeline doesn't know how to simulate a no action input. Like chess, trying to think a few moves ahead of your opponent is what should give you the edge over another player, and should be the crux of skill for Ultra. This is the win state. There are 2 orders that should be used to determine the winner. The first order is whoever gains possession of their opponent's relic. The second order is whoever has the lowest fatigue after some high set number of frames. In the event that both players have the same fatigue, resorting to the other important metric to try and solve the draw, or using some sudden death like feature that will loop until a conclusion has been determined, should provide enough safety checks to avoid draw matches. An example, you can set the fatigue to 999 and replay the match. The philosophy here is that we want winning outcomes, not draws. Another way to win is if your opponent fails to take a turn within the agreed turn limit, then you are declared the winner. So the relics, the objective of Ultra Battles is to snatch the relic from an opponent's neck. There's a grab relic action that should become available when the conditions are right. Reaching for the relic should leave you very vulnerable, especially if you miss, to make the action a huge risk-reward action. The philosophy here is that relics are the alternative to conventional HP bars, which should be a better test of one's skill rather than depleting it. And just one more time, I made this document before I even made the game. So there's minor details here and there that are no longer true or have changed. I'm not really calling it out because I remember this document's pretty long and I don't want today's episode to be like a 30-minute, 40-minute thing. So I'm just going over the highlight. Fatigue system. The fatigue system is Ultra Battles' way of encouraging players confrontation and increasing the intensity leading to the end game. The more damage you take in actions you do, the higher your fatigue percentage goes up. The philosophy here is the higher your fatigue is, the easier it becomes for your opponent to snatch your relic, incentivizing your opponent to try their luck to do so. Stages overview. Actually, I'm going to skip this because I'm actually right now working on this design. Animations overview. All animations should feel vibrant and full of life. Due to the nature of Ultra Battles being paused on any given frame, having animations look and feel intentional is very important. I don't know how good of a job I'm doing at the moment, but every animation keyframe should be handcrafted, leaving virtually no room for the computer to interpolate, creating unintended animation data. Monetization. Ultra Battles needs a solid monetization strategy to remain a free game while also staying in development for the years to come. The truth is, only a low percentage of the player base should be expected to purchase in-app purchases, so other strategic methods should be implemented to increase the average revenue per user. Strategies include data-driven ad placements, which I opted against. I had ads in the game once upon a time, just randomly, and it was the worst experience ever. All ads now are optional. Desirable non-play-to-win in-app purchases. It's all cosmetic, so there is no play-to-win in the game. Hopefully, we never have to add that. And then finally, merch, which is something to. An in-game currency could be used to encourage some players that never want to spend money and instead just grind out the game. Things that affect the actual gameplay should never be put behind monetization. True. The philosophy here is to provide non-intrusive monetization strategies to maximize player satisfaction in relation to game juice. Just an idea. Battle outfits could get worn and tattered the more damage you take. This should not be tied to your fatigue because it can go up from just doing player actions. Community engagement. The community events could include tournaments that could reward unique cosmetics. Team A versus Team B. Select a team. Vote by winning matches for your team. Whichever side wins could introduce a new community cosmetic or something. A guild feature could offer new rewards depending on your guild's performance. The philosophy here is to host various community events to drive traffic to the app and give the community both excitement and direct influence over the lore of the app while feeling like they took. Yeah, I love the Splatoon little war battles things they used to do. Ketchup versus mayo. I never knew what this one was. I think I might have tuned out by this one, but the ketchup versus mayo was very innovative. Flight versus invincibility, which superpower? You get the idea. And yeah, that's basically it. Again, I outlined that before I even started to develop the game, and it feels good to have a game that I like finally. I'm interested and excited to develop for like the next 5 years if need be. And there's so much I'm leaving out in this conversation. Maybe I'll make a like official video talking about this in depth another day. I'm curious, do you have dream games? What are your thoughts on dream games? Share your thoughts on dream games in the comments below. Let's have a discussion.